Hi everyone, and welcome to this web design tutorial video. Today we're gonna have a look at Bootstrap components. Let's get started. Hi everyone, so welcome to this tutorial video. We're going to look at Bootstrap components. A component is basically a kind of plugin where some HTML and CSS has already been designed and developed for you to plug it straight into your web page, and then all you have to do is edit it a little bit to suit the purpose of your page. Okay, so we're going to look at how to do that in today's tutorial video. I'm working on a project about Tokyo, and this is the images folder that I've started to develop for the project. If I go into the main project folder, you can see that my website will currently have 5 web pages. We've got the home page here. This is my index page. This is the home page, and linking off that there will be 4 other web pages. And if we go into Notepad++, I've already started to design my home page, index.html. I've styled a background image, and I've started to think about the structure of the page, and we'll look at this in a moment. The other pages at the moment have the basic structure of a web page with the head section and the body section, and I've just put in a little bit of content to guide me as I get started with this project. Okay, so let's go back to index. What I did earlier was I just very quickly put out just a basic layout that I'm going to work out on my index.html page. I'm going to create 3 Bootstrap rows. The top row is going to contain my navbar. The second row is going to be broken up into 3 columns. Each column will span 4 of the available 12 spaces that Bootstrap provides, and I will be planning for small devices and up. And row 3 will be broken into 2 columns, the first one spanning 8 of the available 12 spaces and the second one spanning 4. Okay, so this is going to be my layout. And if we go back to Notepad++, this is what we've got. This is my first row, and it's going to contain the navbar. This is my second row. It's going to contain something called cards. So we're going to look at these today. These are Bootstrap cards, and these are components. This row has been broken into 3 columns, each spanning 4 of the available 12 spaces, and we're planning for small devices. Hopefully you know what I'm talking about from the last tutorial video. Let's just change that to card, because I'm going to put a card into each of these columns, and we'll look at how to do that right now. Oh, by the way, before we get started, let's remember that we are using Bootstrap, so I am going to have to go to, let's go to W3 Schools, because it's just the easiest place to get the links that we need to get Bootstrap working correctly. I'm going to be working with Bootstrap 4. I'm going to go down to the Get Started section and steal from the Content Delivery Network all of these links to help me work with Bootstrap. So we'll copy those and we'll paste them into the head section of my web page. Okay, so there we go. So we're ready to go. Brilliant. Now then, let's also go to I'm just going to do a search for Bootstrap here. Yeah, getbootstrap.com. So in getbootstrap.com, we can go into the documentation section and find components. Now, components, as I said earlier, are just basically plugins that you can copy and paste directly into your web page. And because we've linked to Bootstrap's CSS file and Bootstrap's JavaScript file, everything should work tickety-boo. So let's look at how that works. I've just mentioned that I've already researched the Bootstrap card component. So let's have a look at the card component. So this is what a Bootstrap card is going to look like. We can imagine there's an image here with a title underneath it, some text beneath that, and a button that we can click to do something. So this is a Bootstrap card. It's like a plugin, and I'm going to plug it into my web page simply by copying this HTML markup. So let's copy that and paste it into the first card column that I've already prepared on my web page. Okay, so it looks a bit higgledy-piggledy. Let's clean that up. So that's the column. This is the div for the card, so I'm just going to nudge everything else into that div. Brilliant. Just about there. And this should line up with this. No, it doesn't. It's this one. What does that one line up with? This one. Okay, let's nudge that in. So this div inside the card div contains these 3 lines of HTML. So I'm just going to nudge them into the div. And now, as you can see, this column, the HTML becomes a little bit more readable. Inside the column there is a div, and inside this div there is an image and another div, and inside this div there are 3 elements. Okay, so let's save that and run it in Chrome, and this is what it looks like. So remember, I styled my web page to have a background image. Well, this is the background image, and this is the card. And doesn't it look awful? This isn't what I want. Oh, maybe I should put my own image into that card, right? So I already have an images folder, and I'm going to put image 5 into the card. Okay, so let's go back to my card. Let's find the image element, and let's change the source to be, I'm going to go into my images folder, and I'm going to find image5.jpg. We'll save that and refresh the web page, and hopefully that will make a difference. Brilliant! So there's a card. I've got a card going. Okay? So what I'm going to do now is copy the card code and paste it into the second card. And the third card. Okay, so there's a column, and this column contains a card. There's the middle column, it contains a card. And there's the first column, and it contains a card. Let's just go back to my images folder. I want the second card to contain the picture of Tokyo Tower, and I want the third card to contain the picture of the geisha. Okay, so that's image 1 and image 2. So let's get that sorted out. This one is going to be images 1, and this one is going to be image 2. Let's save that and refresh my web page. So now I've got 3 cards populating the body of my web page, and all I'm going to have to do now is edit the text. Okay, you can see that this image in the middle here is a little bit taller than the other images, so the card looks a little bit taller as well. So if that's a problem for me, I might want to go to Photoshop and edit that image and try and make it the same aspect ratio as this image. Okay, so before we go today, I'm just going to show you a navbar component that I can get from Bootstrap. So let's go back to the component page in getbootstrap.com. I'm going to go to navbar. I could go, by the way, to drop downs, which is quite interesting. Let's just see if we can get some a drop down button. Let's take that code as a plugin and paste it into my top row. So there it is. Let's just clean it up. There's a button. There's some text inside the button. There's a div with some links in the div. And this one matches the drop down. So this row contains a drop down. Let's see what that looks like. Save and refresh the page, I now have a drop down. And now I just have to edit it to make it my navigation bar. Okay? Now, just very quickly before we finish this today, I'm going to show you another more hardcore navigation bar, which is a Bootstrap component. Let's go to navbar. Check this one out. This is a monster. So here's a navigation bar. All I have to do is copy all of the code. This is a nav element, and it finishes down here. So let's just copy all of that. Nav bar. I'm going to go back to my row, my top row. I'm going to delete that drop down that I just put in. So I've just got the row code, and now we're going to paste in the nav bar, save it, and refresh my web page. And I have another funky navigation bar that I can play with. What a useful component. Okay, components in Bootstrap.